To Energy Action's European Energy Poverty Conference. This is the seventh annual conference that Energy Action has hosted on fuel poverty, or energy poverty as it's called. Delighted to see a good turnout today, and we're looking forward to a really exciting conference. We've got an absolutely fantastic lineup of speakers, and I know that it's going to be a really worthwhile and valuable experience. We met some of you last night, so we've already started to some extent. My name is Brian McSharr, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm CEO at Energy Action. With me here today is David McCarthy, Chairman of Energy Action, Jim Gannon, CEO of Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland, and Dennis Nocton, Minister for Communications, Climate Action and Environment. So we have a very busy programme today, so without further ado, I would like to call David to the lectern. Chairman of Energy Action, David McCarthy.
Thank you. Minister, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure on behalf of Energy Action to welcome you to our 2018 European Energy Poverty Conference. As Brian said, Energy Action has been to the forefront over the years in addressing the problem of energy poverty. Today's conference is our seventh, and each of these events has been important in raising and maintaining awareness of energy poverty. I think it's true to say that whilst good progress has been made in tackling this problem over the years, there's still a lot of work to be done. Energy poverty continues to be an enduring problem with widespread and severe impacts. The theme of this year's conference is a united European approach to tackling the issue. It's estimated that over 50 million Europeans live in energy poverty, which is associated with more than 30,000 winter deaths in Europe each year. Awareness of energy poverty is growing across Europe, and the issue is being increasingly recognised within the activities of the European Union. The recently established EU Energy Poverty Observatory, not easy to say that, developed by a consortium of 13 organisations, including Energy Action, and supported by the European Commission, will help share knowledge and best practice, thereby helping all member states combat energy poverty. In addition, new European energy market rules will oblige all member states to measure and monitor energy poverty and report to the Commission on a regular basis. And you'll be hearing much about these initiatives from our expert speakers throughout the day. We're delighted again to welcome the Minister for Communications, Climate Action and Environment, Dennis Nocton, who's here today to open the conference for us. The government's current strategy to combat energy poverty is important in setting out a plan to find more effective ways to focus energy efficiency efforts on those most at risk of energy poverty. And we very much welcome the Minister's support in this area, including his recently announced announcement extending the government's free warmer home scheme to families in receipt of the domiciliary care allowance. And we'd also like to thank you, Minister, for the time and support your department has given to Energy Action in the build-up to this conference. I'd also like to thank our main sponsors, Bord Gáis Energy, Electric Ireland and SSE Electricity, for their continued support for the conference. And thanks also to the other sponsors and exhibitors, and of course a special thanks to all of you for coming to the conference today, and particularly those of you who have travelled some distances from many parts of Europe to be here with us. We have an excellent lineup of speakers and workshops today, and I'm certain that you will have both an interesting and a productive conference.
Very, very enlightening and inspirational address. And can I now invite Jim Gannon? I think Jim has a video that you're going to.
I did do it myself. No,
okay. Not sure. No.
I'll be very brief in introducing this. Fuel poverty won't be solved by any government department or European directive or regulation or government agency in isolation. There's a lot of work to be done in that area, but I think you can tell that in Ireland certainly there's a lot of activity and there's a lot of ambition around fuel poverty. So I think we'll get there, but it's not about just that. An individual in fuel poverty needs to be aware that they're in fuel poverty. They need to not feel any embarrassment about that, and they need to feel comfortable talking about it. It's something I'm happy to talk about, and I can talk to my peers about. They need to be informed about their choices. What tariff is best for someone in fuel poverty for the way they use their home? Is it prepay? Is it a traditional tariff? Is there something we can do there? At least tell them what options there are for them and make sure that information gets to them. And finally, after they're informed, they need to be activated. So they need to want to do it, and they need to be able to do it. I think there's evidence of that activity again abounding right now. In terms of informing them, we put together a behavioural economics unit last year to look at how we communicate messages to humans in their home around energy. And it can be simple things like saying, we will provide you with a free home upgrade, or we can provide you with a free home upgrade worth €4,500, where you inform them of the value, and not necessarily quantifying it in euro terms, but about their health, their well-being, the comfort of their home, the pride they have in their upgraded home and hearth. These are very, very impactful. I think we need to work with the supply chain. There needs to be capacity there, there needs to be quality there, and there needs to be trust there, that the person selling me something, whether it's a commoditized utility or a piece of insulation, I can trust them to do the right thing by me. That's exceedingly important, especially as we increase our efforts in that area. And then finally, if it's a government telling someone to do something, or if it's a supply chain trying to sell you something, there can be a gap of trust anyway. So the best way of getting people to do this is by talking to their peers. And by talking to their peers, we mean looking at community networks, seeing how we can improve the impact of that. Getting people in touch with others who've gone through that process of awareness, of informing themselves, of activating themselves. And it's really to that point that we've created a video, because, and I'll hand directly over to Brian afterwards, fuel poverty isn't about organisations, it's about actual humans in their homes and their pride and their health and their well-being. So I invite you just to watch this for 3.5 minutes, and then we'll stop, there'll be no tap dance, and we'll hand straight back to Brian. Congratulations to Energy Action for all of you being in this room, and I invite you to learn and to share and to continue in your efforts. Thanks.
The issue of fuel poverty is very real in Ireland today, with 1 in 4 households struggling to adequately heat their homes. This impacts their comfort levels, it can impact their physical and mental health, and really just their overall quality of life. In SEAI, we've been providing government-funded energy efficiency upgrades for over 20 years. We work with a range of organisations to help target, where possible, the most vulnerable homes. As a result, thousands of homeowners every year are experiencing healthier and more comfortable homes and are seeing their fuel bills reduce. It is really great to know that SEAI is helping to make the lives of these homeowners just that little bit easier.
Before we got the work done, it was cold, so it meant the heating was on from morning till night to try and heat the place up. That, you know, since we've had the work done, it's absolutely marvellous.
I arrived down here in Euross in Wexford 13 years ago and bought this house. I thought the walls were cool in parts, you know what I mean? Outside walls, now if you put your hand on them, you feel the cold. But when they pumped them, you could feel the difference.
A friend of ours, actually my daughter's mother-in-law, her friend had it done, and she was telling my daughter about it, and she said, "Mum, you should try that." And I said, "No, wouldn't get it." And he said, "We try." So we did try. We did. We're so pleased we did try, because it's absolutely brilliant, and we would recommend it to anyone. Got new windows, back and front, and new hall door, new back door. We got a new boiler. The attic is insulated. We thought we had the attic insulated, but it wasn't deep enough, so they insulated the attic.
They arrived, did the job, another fella come another day, on time, all the time, did the job and did it well. A nice man, couldn't fault anybody from day one. when you come in the hall door there now, you feel that heat. Before it wasn't there. Want to see my ESB bills, they're down to zilch. That's a fact, down to zilch. And they even took off the board that's up there to get into the attic, and they done the inside of that. And when you pull it down, they put 2 clips on it to make sure it wouldn't go up and down with the wind if there was any wind.
This is something we never thought would happen to our home. You know, it has literally put a whole new life into the house.
Well, I find the house is cosier, and it's much easier to sit around in your nip.